113-pound Pennsylvania State Final. We have Pierson Manville, the sophomore from State College, 37-3 on the season, 163-12 career. I don't think that's right at the paper I'm looking at.
He started in Minnesota.
Okay, that explains it. I'm looking at these numbers like, holy cow. Let me get through the intros and we'll get back to it. So Briar Priest, 12th grader, a senior from Hempfield area, 38-2 this season, 136-22 career mark.
Pierson Manville at State College High School, 55-6.
Yeah, just a sophomore, and I looked at that as 175 career matches as a sophomore.
And that's got to be a typo as well, even when you count the Minnesota matches.
But Pierson Manville, the talk of the morning round, the semifinals, picking up a huge upset win. Well, I should say huge upset, but just a huge win in dramatic fashion. As he comes around behind, see if he can return him to the mat, and he does. Manville with the opening takedown and goes up 2-0 over Priest. So as I was saying, Manville picked up the pin over Tyler Kasak in a tight match, roll through, able to pick up the fall, and had this place buzzing.
And when you look at Pierson Manville's record in the year, 37-3. Kasak defeated him in the semifinals at Escape the Rock in a very tight match. Lost to Tom Crook of Tampa Jesuit. And then early in the season up at 145, lost to Finn Solomon, who we'll see wrestle in the championship final at 145. Briar Priest, 38-2. Manville defeated him in the semifinals at Powerade. That was a 4-3 decision for Manville. The 2-on-1 is a position that Coach DeAugustine identified as a big one, that Manville controls the tie-ups in that, and a stall call goes against Priest. He said we need to find a way to get into exchanges without Manville getting to that 2-on-1 and really putting us in a bad position to start the exchange.
So Manville will take a 2-1 lead into the second. Priest has choice, and he's going to go underneath. This is Manville's first trip to the Giant Center. He's made it a memorable one so far. Just finds himself in the state finals. Talked about Manville's big win over Kasak in the semis. Priest had a 3-1 win over Dominic Fendora from Downingtown West. Priest up quickly, gets the escape, tie things up early in the second period. And Manville just wrestles with a tenacity and intensity about him. You can see it in his eyes, you can see it in his face as he's wrestling. Just a very intense young man. Just overwhelms some guys with the power. See that halo headgear, famous for the Manvilles, comes off. Talking earlier in the semifinal round, I'm not sure if the Manville family purchased all the remaining halo headgears out there. They're the only guys I see wearing them. He gets it snapped back on. Ready to go here with 1:08 left in the second period.
Pierson Manville trying to go through returning state champions back-to-back in the semifinals and finals with Kasak and Priest. Last time we saw a run like this, got back in 2016 at 126 pounds. Brian Courtney went through 3 in a row with Jonathan Gabriel of Bedford, Cole Matthews of Reynolds, and Max Murin of Central Cambria.
State College coaches right in front of us just encouraging Manville to get back to his ties, win the hand fight, and get to a position where he can fire off a quality shot. Of course, I'm summarizing. They didn't quite say that exactly, but that's what they want this guy to do with 12 seconds to go in the second period.
And that 2-on-1 that DeAugustine identified has been controlling the space and all the movement on the feet. Drew the stall call against Priest. Manville's choice in the third. He's going underneath.
Priest getting on a little too early as Manville still kicking those feet. These guys can't even get lined up. Now Manville ready. Priest trying to get the foot in, but Manville, excellent job of grabbing the bottom of the foot. Almost got the reversal, but doesn't really matter, reversal or escape, he gets out from underneath Priest. That's just great wrestling from Manville. I've seen a lot of guys just leaving legs come in way too easily this weekend. Manville was ready for it, caught it coming in, grabbed the bottom of the heel, throws it out, and able to get the quick escape.
Well, terminology we talked about in the AA final, catching versus throwing it out. Manville textbook, threw the leg out, didn't let it come in, where a lot of guys will go palm up and get that leg thrown over top of their arm.
Yeah, and then their arm gets stuck underneath. So it's all about, you know, it's little techniques, little positioning, hand movement, hand placement, all of that kind of stuff. That's what's really key to getting out. And I see Priest has a flat tire. That's going to be tough to deal with. He's got a big chunk of his shoe that's coming off on the bottom. On his right foot, that's his lead leg. I don't know how much it's going to come into play, but I saw a pretty big flap of rubber coming off the bottom. Doesn't matter though, Priest in on both legs, picks up the double with under a minute to go. He's going to go up 4-3 on Manville. Shoe or not, he doesn't care, he needs the takedown.
As he's having trouble with that left leg going in, he wants to put it in. It wasn't comfortable as Manville turned the knee.
Manville tries to hip in. I think they went out of bounds first. They're going to talk about it.
They're going to give him an escape.
Going to say loss of control. Yeah, you can't give him a reversal there, but I think loss of control. I'd have to see it again. And here we get to see it again. Hips in, steps over, but yeah, out of bounds. I think loss of control is the right call there.
Coach DeAugustine wants to talk about it. When did they cross over out of bounds?
And honestly, it's so hard in high school with the out of bounds rules. In college, it's super clear cut. It's a cylinder. If any part is over the cylinder, you don't even have to be on the mat. If any part's hanging over the cylinder, you're still in bounds. So the referee is going to stay with the call of loss of control, and we've got a 4-4 match. It looked like Priest just ripped off the bottom of his shoe, I think, during that break, because I see a big white spot on the bottom of his foot.
With that double leg that he fired off, I'm not sure, you know, he did just fine with it hanging off the bottom of his sole.
I mean, I don't want to make too big of a deal of it, but depending on how much of his shoe is missing, that's going to really cut down on the traction that he has.
And it's here. Committed attacks compared to positioning whenever you're talking about the stalling battle here. In the early going, taking ground, Manville was able to draw the stall, but it's Briar Priest that's firing off the committed leg attacks. See if that comes up here in the sudden victory period.
Pierce tries to get it on the attack again. So we move towards the out of bounds line. Again, Priest has that stall call. He's got to be careful.
And it's Manville with the takedown early in the bout. That'll give him choice an ultimate tiebreaker if we get there. I like whenever guys know the scenario before the sudden victory period starts.
Again, in high school, we'll wrestle 2 30-second periods if we need to. Manville trying to end things here in the first sudden victory period. Manville drives in, continually moving forward. Under 10 seconds to go. Manville doesn't lock behind the back. So we end the sudden victory period scoreless. Referee's gonna flip his disc and we'll see who gets choice. He's got all the choices except for neutral. Can't choose neutral in high school. Priest is gonna defer the choice to the second 30-second ride out. Manville elects to go underneath for the first 30-second ride out period. So again, we wrestle the full 30 seconds. If Manville gets the escape, he needs to continue to wrestle. And then Priest will get a shot with his choice in another 30 seconds. And Manville, a reversal would be big. Unable to get it. There's the 1 point escape. Still 18 seconds in the period. So Priest with the choice, he's going to go underneath. Needs that point to tie up the match. Tries to come up to his feet. Manville has the ankle. Continuously front trips. And there we go again.
He's returning, but he's on the ankle the entire time.
No stalls on Manville. He's got to be careful with, drops down to a leg. Priest tries to kick away. There's a stall on Manville with 4 seconds to go. He's got 4 seconds to ride out the defending state champion to become a state champion in his own right. Pierson Manville, the sophomore from State College, the talk of the morning in the semifinal round. He's trying to be the talk of the evening here in the finals.
4 seconds, you can do this.
So second caution on Priest. Manville on top. And the clock hits 0. There it is. Pierson Manville comes up big over Briar Priest. Pierson Manville, your 138-pound state champion.